So, this training is primarily, it's for anyone who wants to take it, but our concern is primarily with the markets that are about to launch, who do not have any experience with the content management system at all because they've been on the ICANN system. So for those markets, going to ask especially to take great attention if this is your first time being introduced to the system. For the rest of you, you might have a little bit more familiarity with the system. So in that case, just be patient if it is that you probably know this already. But this is really for those persons who are getting ready to launch their new websites. For the rest of you, can probably learn a thing or two or ask questions if you would like as well. Okay, so for those who are especially new to the system, if you received a username password, I'm going to ask that you log in right now to the system, get your username and password up so that you can follow behind and you can actually see what it's like and start making changes and getting comfortable within the system. I'm going to go ahead and log in using the UAT environment that we have here. However, the link that you should be accessing through is the author.digitalgroup.com link that all the markets use to edit content and access the content management system. So just please follow behind me and go to that URL that I just mentioned, author.digitalgroup.com. If you have been having issues and you're not able to access at this time, you should have let Chad and I know that through a ticket. If not, please be sure to file a ticket so that we know you're having an issue accessing the system. This is what it looks like when you are logging in. I'm just going to get all this stuff out the way so you guys can see clearly. This is what the Adobe Experience Manager system looks like. So when you are logging in for the first time, obviously it's just like any other thing that you would log into, any other portal or system. You're going to just put your username and password in as you would, and you're just going to sign in. Okay, now you're going to get to a dashboard, and on that dashboard you're going to see a few different sections. So just take note of the sections that you will be working in the most. You're going to be accessing your actual website content in the website section. You're going to be managing your digital assets in the digital assets section. And if you're not clear on what your digital assets are, that means any type of asset that you use to build content. So that could mean an image, that could be a PDF, it could be a music file or something of that nature if we have that capability. So any kind of asset will be housed in your digital assets section. You're not working with Inbox at this time because we do not have a workflow system where content is being approved or reviewed. You are the author for your content and you have the rights to activate that content. There's also the tool section, and you are not really going to be working much in that section, but you will have to edit your store locations in that section. You're also not going to be working very much within the tagging section, but you will be expected to put in your SEO and keywords in more of like a sentence style within the pages themselves. So please keep that in mind. So just to give a quick recap, the sections you're going to be working with the most: your websites, your digital assets, and for your store locator, you will be accessing the tools section. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No, it's okay.
Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the website section, which, like as I said before, The website section is the section you're going to go to when you are managing your website content. So let's go ahead and click on websites. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to close everything so that you can see what it would look like perhaps if you were logging in for the first time. So, as you can see, there is a folder named website at the side. It's on my left side. So when I clicked websites, I need to basically navigate to where it is that I want to edit my content. So let's do that. So I'm going to pick a market. So websites, Digicel. And I don't want you to get too overwhelmed with the things that are at the top. Because remember, what we're looking for is our website content. So if you open up websites and you see all of these types of things, you're not doing assets right now or campaigns or anything like that. You're not using any of these. So you're going to go straight to Digicel. So websites, Digicel. Now, when you get to Digicel, there's also a few different areas. Now, you're going to navigate to your market because you're not going to be editing Digicel group content unless you're in group office, and you're not going to be editing foundation content unless you're in foundation, right? Makes sense. So you want to go to the markets websites. So let's do that. So all I have to do is I just have to click the side and I get a lovely long list of all of the different Digicel markets here. And keep in mind that I'm in the test environment, so you might see one or two areas that have test labeled there, so you just don't really take too much notice to that. Okay, so let's choose a market. Let's go with Aruba. I'm going to go with a market that is in preparation to launch right now. So Aruba is one of those markets. So once we found our market, we have to continue doing the same type of action. So we need to click to open up our structure so that we can navigate to the type of content that we want to create. So if you open up Aruba, as I just did, all I did was click to open Aruba, you're going to notice that it says EN. Why does it say EN? It says EN because depending on your market, you're going to have different languages. And as we know, Digicel has different, markets with different languages. So depending on that, that's going to take you to the next step of where you want to go. So Aruba has English for the most part, so we're going to have English only. So right now we have EN, right? So I'm going to open up EN because my other content is going to be housed under there. And then I'm going to go to mobile because we are not in the business section right now. We're not editing play content. We are editing mobile website content. Do you guys have any questions so far? I just want to make sure that's clear.
All good.
All good, great. Okay, I'm gonna just switch over to the production environment for a second, just because it's a bit messy in the training environment, but it's this modeled after the same thing. So you should be able to see what it is like. So just keep in mind that you will be using author.digicelgroup.com, so you won't have to worry about any of these IP addresses that I am using. Okay, so we go to websites. And just so you guys remember what I did before, we are finding our market. We are finding our market within the structure. So websites, Digicel, and for our purposes, we're editing the market. So we started with Aruba. So let's look at that. EN, and we have started with mobile. Okay, so as you can see, the structure is underneath mobile. And what you can do to get an idea of what goes where is you can match up your live site, your live navigation with the structure. So if you can see under mobile, I have a few different sections. I have phones and devices, I have plans and services, I have explore. I have the same thing on my live website, right? I have phones and devices, I have plans and services, I have explore. So this can help you to understand the main navigation and how to get to what you want to get to. For example, we have great deals is under explore. So we know that if we want to edit our promotion content or our press releases, we need to go to this section, which is third in line in your structure. Also, if you need to edit My Digicel content or need help content, you're just going to click to open and you will find that content there as well. So if I want to edit something on my home page, for example, what do I do? Well, just keep in mind as we go through that the concepts are the same. So even if you don't know how to do everything, there are similar concepts between the different components. And in AEM, you use a lot of double-clicking to open pages, use a lot of right-clicking to edit, or editing where it says edit. So just keep that in mind as we go through. So I want to open up and edit some content on my mobile page. So I'm going to double click mobile. So when you do that, you are going to get to your website. And I'm actually going to use Jamaica for a second just so I can ensure that all of the components are there, just because I want you to see what it would look like. So this is what it looks like in the content management system as opposed to what it would look like in a publishing environment or a live environment. And what you'll notice is that on these pages in the content management system, you're going to see both content that is published and not published. So just keep that in mind, for example, because here in our carousel, where we have a number of different sliders or banners, not all of these right now are live, but they are in the content management system, which is why we are seeing them. And then we have a number of components, and a component is anything that allows you to build content and create the type of page or type of content that you need to create. And an example of that component would be these postpaid, prepaid, and apps icons that we have that are going to be on every single website right now. And so I'm going to show you how to edit the content sliders, but just so you get a bit familiar with a component, like I said, it's a similar concept throughout. If for example, if a customer went onto our website and they saw that these icons, were there and they clicked on it and it gave them an error, and we needed to fix a link on that, we need to identify where we're going to fix that link, right? So what you're going to do 90% of the time is you're going to right-click that component and you're going to edit it. Usually, when you right-click, you're able to see where that component is linking to, where that path is. And that would allow you to identify why that is giving an error. So a lot of times what happens is that it's giving an error because it's not linking to the correct place. So you would need to find the path within the content management system to ensure that it is linking to the correct place. So how do I do that? Well, this prepaid icon needs to go to the prepaid plans page. Another concept that you'll see a lot in AEM is finding the correct path and using this finder, this search tool, to find that path. So let's do that right now. So we have prepaid here. Let's find the path that we want to go to. So remember when we opened up websites and we went through the structure? You're going to do a similar thing. So it gives you the option of websites. You're going to open that up. Then Digicel. Then markets. And in this case, we're on the Jamaica market. If we were on Aruba or Bermuda, we would go to Aruba or Bermuda, and we would be able to find the prepaid page for that particular market. And I know that because this is our prepaid icon, this needs to link to our prepaid page. So that is what I'm going to do. And I linked to prepaid right there. Once I'm sure that that is the right path and that that page is correct, because remember, if that page is not correct or if it's not activated for some reason, then it's going to give the customer an error, which we'll go into more of activating and deactivating later on. But just start to get yourself comfortable with the concept. So we're just going to choose that path and we're going to do OK. I'm not going to do OK right now since that is the live environment, but you do OK. And we have a lovely tool here called a sidekick. And basically your sidekick is used for a few different reasons. It helps you to build and create content. It helps you to activate and deactivate a page. So what does that mean? Activating a page means that anything that I create and I now want my customer, my user to see on the live environment, I need to activate. So I just came into this content management system and I just changed that prepaid URL, right? And I now want that change to be reflected to everybody else in the world. So that means that I need to come here to my sidekick, and I have two tabs that I use primarily. That's the components tab, and that is the page tab. I use the others once in a while, but I use these the most. And on your page tab, you'll see the option to activate. In that case, I made a change and I want that change to go live. I would activate or reactivate my home page. You're not really going to be using delete. You shouldn't really be deleting. You should never be deleting your home page ever. But in the case where you may have like a promotion that's no longer live, you have to make sure that a page is deactivated. So deactivated is right here in your sidekick before you delete anything. But don't delete, ever. You guys just have to be very careful when you do that. Is everyone following so far? Do you have any questions?
All good.
Okay. Okay, since there's no questions, I'm gonna carry on. So there's a lot of components, and you know it would take us forever to get into every component. But again, I just want to remind you that concept is similar throughout. So with this design, another one of the components that we use a lot is called the general banner component. And basically, this is. Hi, is there a question? Okay. Danny wants to know how we change a banner. Danny, I'm going to get to that next after I show you how to change a general banner. So I'll do that right after. Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's two different banners. The one that Danny just asked about is the carousel banner. So these are the ones at the top of the page. I'm going to show you how to do those in a minute because they're actually edited in a different area. But these general banners, these static banners that are across the websites, these are edited a bit differently. So you'll see that they're called general banners there, and you'll see that there is a point to edit. So let's click edit and see what we have there. Okay, configuration. That's another word that you'll see a lot on the components because that means anything that you are trying to configure or create within the system. So if you notice, we have a few different titles here. So we have a description, and you can just take note of where that falls here. Description, it falls above the button link. You also have, I think the most important parts for you here to notice are your desktop, tablet, and mobile images. So basically, what I said before was that you have a few different sections that you use, and your digital assets is one of them. So what we would do in this case is we would upload our assets prior. If we knew that we had a new promotion or something that we wanted featured, that's something that we would have to upload prior. So let's do that. Can anybody tell me where I would upload my assets? From what I was talking about a few minutes ago? Anyone? In the dam. Okay. Cherise is a bit of a cheater because she has been on this training before, but that's okay. Thank you, Cherise. So we're going to go to the dam. So guys, just take note of these icons that are at the top of the page. You have the website icon and you have the digital assets icon. So digital asset is what we call DAM, but don't get too caught up in the terminology of things. Just know that you have to add your images to the digital asset section. So there's an icon, and if I click that there, that's going to take me to my digital asset section. Okay, so remember, throughout AEM, you have to navigate to where it is that you want to go, right? So digital assets. I want to go to Digicel because none of these things apply to me. And in this case, I am going to find my market. And I found my market, and there's a few different sections that I want to go to. But in this case, I want to upload a banner. So let's go to banners. Okay, so I'm in El Salvador. There's a few different folders, so depending on how you want to organize your content, you would upload it there. As long as you're keeping it in your folder, so just pay attention to that to make sure you're not uploading your content for El Salvador in Jamaica. It'll help you find it easier as well when you have to find the path in the component. So my mouse is on top of El Salvador, right? Or whatever market it is that I want to add an image or an asset to. I need to make sure that my mouse is on top of that. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I would have already gotten my images from my graphic designer, and I would have had it nested away somewhere on my computer. So I'm going to just upload that right now. And it's a very simple process. You see this at the top that says new? That is how you are going to add your images. So you're going to do new. You're going to do new file. You're going to browse for it. and then you're going to just upload it. So it should have uploaded. Let's check. Yes, it did. So I want to get in the habit of activating things that I know I'm going to need. So I know that I'm going to need this banner and I need it to show to my customers, and I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Okay. It also helps a lot for you to remember what you name your image. So try to use something that's searchable, that's easy to find in the system. Like, for example, it would be Suriname data, and that would be something that's easy for you to find within the system. So once that's in and that's activated, you're going to go back to your website section, right? Because that's where we wanted to edit our content. Is everybody following so far? Perfect. Okay, so I am under my mobile website. So let's just go ahead and open that up, I guess. Go back where we were. Because the whole goal was that we wanted to change our general banners. So basically I'm gonna edit. I don't have to right click because it says edit for me. And I'm going to link to the path where I just put my banners. Does that make sense? Is everyone following? Okay, so let's find the path of where I just put it. So again, similar concept. You need to find where it is that you just put that piece of content that you know need. And so, for example, if I had just uploaded the Samsung Galaxy S7 banner, I need to click on that and I need to do OK. Now, remember, you would have uploaded 3 sizes. These are the primary sizes that you use for your banners across the website, and that is because we have the desktop, tablet, and mobile version right now that we input for all of the banners in these components. So I would need to go through and I would just need to find that. And remember, this is why I told you guys that it's best if you name it something that's easy to remember or easy to find. So for example, if it's a new data promotion, it would probably be better for you to do Aruba data tablet, Aruba data desktop, Aruba data mobile, or however it is that you're going to easily be able to just find it and plug it in. A trick that I use is that instead of having to go through once I put in the first banner, I just copy the path because you should have uploaded it all to the same place. So I just copy the path and I just paste that in. Once it goes there, I just switch to the tablet version. Because if you uploaded it at the same time, then it will all be it all should be right next to each other. Does that make sense? Okay, so does anyone have questions about the general banners? Because I'm now going to move on to how you edit the carousel banners. So I'm expecting that if no one has questions, that everyone can edit a general banner. Okay, no one has questions. I'm expecting everyone on this call can now edit a general banner. Okay, so basically your content slider is what controls your promotions or your promotional banners, right? Content slider is just another name for the component. Like I said before, don't get too caught up in things. You're not going to know all of this by heart. It's just kind of understanding the concepts. So the content slider, what you need to remember is that it's pulling in from a different area. It's pulling in from the promotions area. It's pulling in from the promotions area. So what does that mean? That means that I need to find my promotions area. And my promotions area, it's not like my DAM or my website section that is its own has its own kind of icon or its own area. What it means is that it's actually within my website structure. So everybody just make a note of that. Where do you edit your carousel banners? It's in the promotion section underneath website structure. So let's go ahead and find that. So I'm in websites. And I need to go to Digicel because none of these other things are relevant to me right now. Digicel. And I said I need to edit my promotion section. Now, it might not look exactly like that for you, but just keep in mind that you need to navigate to promotions for your carousel. So let's go ahead and do that. So markets, I'm not ready to go to markets yet because first I need to go to promotions. Now, once I get to promotions, I have a few different options. If I'm not in a market where I'm using Digicel Play, and I'm not editing group content, then I'm going to go to my market content. Okay, and then that gives us a few different areas, different markets. Now, what you would need to do is you'd, again, need to find your particular market. So once I do that, let's just choose a market to practice with. So let's choose Haiti. So once you click on your market, so once you just place your mouse, on your market, what's going to happen is you're going to see all the banners or all the promotions that are currently up on your website, whether or not they are live. So Haiti, okay. All right, so I see all the ones, I see that they're green, which means in this case they're activated. If they were red, like for example, if I did that and I wanted to deactivate one, then it would be red. Remember, I'm not deleting anything, I'm just going to deactivate because I'm absolutely sure that we're not using that promotion anymore. So, can anyone tell me what I would do if I needed to create a new carousel banner? Give me an idea. Think about what we went into the DAM and how we added a new asset to the DAM. New page. Perfect. Thank you, Peter Gay. So I'm going to do new page. Okay. Now, what I want you guys to keep in mind is that we have different types of templates that are used. Don't get too overwhelmed with that. Basically, there's two things you can do if you're not sure what template you should be using. You can cheat and see what was there before. So my things are all moved over, but if I moved everything over, you can see that to my right hand corner, or maybe it's your left, you would see the template that was used was promotion, right? And we already know that that's the template we should be using anyway because we're in the promotion section. So it's just kind of connecting the dots. If I was creating a FAQ, I would be using a help detail page. And like I said, don't get too overwhelmed with the template. Just look at what was used before or use your intuition to decide which one is the best one for you. I think I have a list of templates that I can send to you guys so if you want to use the list to reference which one should be used. But in any case, just look at what was used before. It's usually the correct answer 99% of the time. Okay, so I'm going to do new page. And it's a promotion template, right? Okay, so let's create a new template. So I need to put in a title. This is just for my carousel banner. So maybe it's Red Hot Summer, right? That's just the name of the promotion. Okay, now what does the name mean? The name in most situations in the CMS means that it is the URL. It is not relevant in this part because this is just your carousel banner, so it's not really its own page if you think about it in that way. But when you're creating a new page, if you wanted to ensure that the URL comes out more how you would like it to, you could put that in. So you do lowercase and just dash. If you don't put in a name, that's fine. The system is going to do it based on whatever title you put in. Make sense? Okay, so I put in my title, my name, and my promotional template, right? And I'm going to do create. Now, can anyone tell me how I'm going to open this up so that I can actually edit it? We did this when we opened up our mobile website, when we wanted to begin editing. How do I edit this now? Hello? I hear someone. Double click. Thank you, Natasha. Let's double click. Perfect. So I see my title, Red Hot Summer, but I don't have any content yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some content in, right? Now, there's this thing called the content finder. Again, don't worry about what the name is. Just know that this bar here helps you to find the content that you just uploaded. So anything that you put in the DAM, this search bar here at the side of your page helps you to find that content. If you ever, if you come in and you don't see it, there's a little arrow. It's very, very, very small. But it allows you to hide it and it allows you to open it. So it's just a little trick. I usually keep mine closed because I like having the space there. But if you ever can't find it, you're just going to click the side and it usually pops right up for you. So I'm ready to edit my content here and I want to put in some images. I want to put in my mobile, desktop, and tablet image based on the sizes that I got from group, right? So I'm going to click edit. Okay, so it makes life easy for you, or it at least tries to. It says desktop, mobile, tablet, and what you need to do is you need to either search for what you just add it to the dam. Or if you're lucky, usually the last thing that you add should just come up on the side of the page. You just need to do a refresh. So let's try searching for something. Let's say we search for play. All right, so I have some images that come up, right? So this is simple. What I need to do is I need to drag and drop in my image. Drag and drop. Drag and drop. 1, 2, 3. Drag and drop, right? Make sense, guys? It's pretty simple. And then we see this word again, configuration, the configuration tab. That means that you need to configure this with the titles. You need to send your user somewhere with a call to action. All of that lovely information is edited in your configuration tab. So you need to put a title because you want the customer to know what this promotion or what this banner is about, right? So let's do that. So we can say Red Hot Summer. And let's say that the contest is about winning smartphones. Okay, so I said Red Hot Summer, win smartphones and prizes this summer, right? And so once I have that, I have a few options underneath about how I want my content to be presented. And please take a note of this because it makes a big difference. I've seen markets publish things that you can't see, it's not the right text. Just make sure you're choosing the correct things and you're actually previewing before you publish. All right, so Red Hot Summer. You mean the configurations, Thermil? Okay, so this section you can't put in videos. This section is only for your banner images that are going to go across the page. But in another area, you could put in like a YouTube video. We have a specific component for that, so I can show that to you later. Okay? Okay, great. All right, so just keep in mind, like we said, that we want to make sure we're using the right colors and fonts and etc. So I'm going to choose a light font because I'm not sure if my color is going to show up on this background, but I'll see. I'll test it before I publish. And I'm not sure either about the right or left in this case, but let's go for the left. And I want my button color to be dark violet so that the user can see it and is able to click on that. Okay, so once we put in that information, Valerie, when you say animated, what do you mean? Explain a little more. Do you mean animated just like how the top-up, the diaspora things are? Or do you mean animated like there's actually some kind of additional component or something to that banner?
Hi, Valerie. Michaela here. If you have a GIF file, then yes, you'll be able to, but not Flash. We are not using Flash files on this website. Only GIF.
Thanks, Michaela. Does that answer your question, Valerie? Okay, I'm not sure. But we can talk more about that afterwards. Okay, so like I was saying, your call to action is the link that you want your customer. It's the journey that you want to take your customer to, right? So since we've put in our title already and we've chosen the color that we want to show up here, we need to put in our link. because we need to give the customer some more information about how they can win smartphones and prizes. So let's choose a link, and we're using a similar concept that we have been using at least twice before. We're finding the page that the customer needs to link to. So again, where am I navigating to? I need to go to Digicel because I am in a Digicel market. Okay, and I am working on Haiti. So I need to put in I would have already created my promotions, and now I'm just going to link to it. Okay. All right, now before I do okay, just remember that we're testing, so this is going to look very off. Okay. So the reason why this is covering it is because this icon is in the middle of the banner image, right? But in your case, you would need to make sure that you have a clear space. I would say at least 60% or 55% that you have the ability to write text on your banner, which is why when we've been requesting content for the website, we've asked that you guys upload it to Toolkit, and we've asked that you make them as clean as possible, because if you don't, then the system is not going to treat the image very well. All right, so once I'm comfortable with this, and I'm going to use my sidekick here because I have a little tool that I can use for preview. And when I do that, I go into preview mode. It's the microscope that's here. That allows me to see what my content look like, right? Once I'm okay with how that looks, I'm going to go and I'm going to find activate, because anything that we want to send live, we have to activate, right? Okay, but we're not finished yet, because remember, we are feeding this into our home page, right? So because we're feeding this into our home page, we need to go and open up our home page and make sure that it is displaying there correctly, and then we can activate it there. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to navigate outside of the promotion section, and I'm going to go back to my websites. Okay, I'm going to double click and open mobile. Keep in mind this is a UAT environment. Okay, so basically that's why it looks like that, because we have a mixture of things here. I have a question from the Join Me group. So when you activate a page, this actually puts the page live. You're right. So the reason why I'm going to mobile now is because I need to make sure that I'm going to activate this change and that it's going to go live, right? So what would have happened is that I would have the banner that I just put in would have showed up within my content slider. And it's already going to be set up for you guys so that if I click edit, it's already going to go to the correct place. So you shouldn't have to worry about configuring that part. But what you will have to worry about is making sure that your banner came up the way that it should. And then once you are confident with that, then you will activate the page. Does that make sense? You can use a preview, or you should use a preview to view how that would look. Okay, there's somebody who's off of mute. Does someone have a question?
Hi, Jamil. Jamil, do you have a question?
No? Okay. Danny, does that help you to know how to update the carousel?
Sorry, hold on, Sharian. Jamil, if it is that you're not asking a question, can you go on mute, please? You're disturbing the others.
Okay, Danny is typing still. Okay, so he understands. Perfect. Okay. Okay, perfecto. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's just go back to our home page quickly and let's just reflect on what's there. Let me go into... So just to do a recap, I log into the system and I want to update my assets. I'm going to go to DAM, or digital asset section there at the top. And I'm going to navigate to where it is I need to upload that content, right? So if it's a banner, I'm going to do banner. And if I'm in Anguilla, I'll put it in Anguilla. It depends on my market. Once I do new, I'm just going to upload. When it uploads, I'm going to activate, right? Then I want to go back to websites. And I want to, again, navigate. It's all about navigating to where you need to go. So let's say I'm in Jamaica. And I want to edit my home page, right? I remember that that's mobile. I'm going to double click to open that up. So far we've successfully uploaded a banner to the carousel. We've edited a path in our prepaid icon. There are also smaller components like titles that you'll see throughout the design and throughout the website. These are very simple for you to change. If it is that you shouldn't be changing the wording, because they generally should be the same across markets, unless you're in a market like Haiti or Panama or El Salvador where you need to change it to translate it. Then you would just, again, right click and edit. And then you would change the wording for your content. So that's simple. Right click, edit. We've learned how to edit a general banner component, and the key is ensuring that you've selected the correct path. Once you've uploaded your content to the digital asset section. You can also control how you edit the button link. This is what I call button link, the little box that says learn more. Again, you're going to right click and edit. And it's going to allow you to choose the path of where you want your customer to go. if I wanted to edit this text that says get great deals on Samsung S7, again, I would just edit and I would be able to edit that text. I could also change the color of how I want it to show up. And I'd be using a banner title. Okay. These other components, they're going to be already there for you. So for the most part, you're not going to be changing anything on news and community. That's going to be pulling in your press release content. And you're not going to be changing anything on your Twitter or Facebook. That's going to be pulled in for you already. So do you guys have any questions about your homepage right now before we move on to another section? Okay, Jeanette is okay. Does anyone else? Yes, Jamila, you have to, if you're able to log in right now, just what I would say is be careful. I'd wait a second on that actually, Jamila, because we actually have more than one Haiti structure in the system because I believe the old one is still there. So after the call, let's talk about that separately. But you are able to see which one is in there. If you open it up, you can double click and open it up. The content entry is complete based on what you guys sent over, but I'd say after the training we can talk about it. Okay, so no one else has questions so far. I'm hoping that you guys are truly understanding the concept and how to edit the content so far. So just to do another quick recap, remember that some of the things that you're using a lot in your Sidekick are your page and your components tab, your components, anything that you're using to create content, and your page tab we're going to explore a bit more soon. That is where you activate and deactivate, but you also put in your page property information for SEO purposes. Okay, so if no one has questions about that, I'm going to go into how you would edit your how you would go in and edit at phones and devices section. Okay, so once again, remember if you look on your live website, you're going to see that phones and devices is the first thing that I see on my left in the navigation. So what does that mean? That means that it should be one of the first things based on how we've been going about finding content. It's going to be one of the first things that you see when you open up your structure in the system, right? So let's choose another market. If I am in Panama, guys, there's some background noise. Please mute if you can. Thanks, great. Okay. So what I was saying.
Ravina, can you go on mute, please?
Thank you. Okay. What I was saying is based on where you are, you can match up where it is that you want to go. So phones and devices. Phones and devices is the first thing in the navigation on the left side, right, on our website. So it should be at the top of our structure based on the formula that we've been using. So let's try using another market. Let's try. I want to try one of the markets that we haven't used yet. Let's try Suriname. Okay. So I'm going to open up mobile because I'm not editing business or play content today. I want to open up the mobile page, right? So I am looking for telephones, and this is in Dutch translation. And if Jeanette is on, she can confirm if it's correct or not, since we haven't gotten to review it together yet. But we know that we're looking for phones and devices, right? So telephones, all right. Incorrect. Okay, so Jeanette, we have to work on that together, okay? Thanks. Okay, great. So we need to edit our phones and devices content. So I'm going to open up the structure. So just keep in mind how it works. Now, if you go to phones and devices, you're not able to click on that. If you go to handsets, you are able to click on that. If you go to smartphones, you are able to click on that, right? So it depends on where it is that you want to add this content. If it's a brand new smartphone, then you'd be adding it under your smartphone section. If it's a basic phone, then you'd be adding it in your basic phone section. So for smartphones, let's say that we want to add the Samsung S7. It's already there for us, but we'll go ahead and add a new page, or we'll pretend that there's a Samsung S8 or something. So we're using the same formula. We're going to do new page. Now, can anyone tell me or give me an idea about what they think this template should be? And I'll open up the page so that you can see the different templates. Can anyone tell me what template I should be using to create this page? Device page. Thanks, Natasha. Natasha should know because she manages all the devices in Jamaica. Okay. All right. So let's say we are creating the Samsung S8 because it just came out. So I'm going to actually spell it out properly. Samsung Galaxy S8, right? And remember what I said before, if you don't put in your title, it's going your name, sorry, it's going to generate based on your title. Everybody following so far? Okay. So I've decided I don't want to put in a name, so I'm just going to let it generate. And I'm going to click on device page because it's a device template we're using, right? Great, so I've done the easiest part, which is naming my page and creating my page. I want to actually edit the content on it now, so let's double click and open it up. Now on this page, you're going to be utilizing your page properties, which we have not been doing a lot yet, but we're going to start doing that right now. So if you see this is spinning and spinning and spinning, why is it spinning? Because we need to give this page some content and we need to give it an image and we need to give it some life, right? Right now there's nothing on it. So let's use our sidekick to help us to do that. So this is your sidekick. It should always be somewhere on your page, easily accessible. Okay, so my page properties is the area that I'm going to utilize the most here to help me to build this content. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click page properties. Okay, so basically the phones that you're inputting should already be in the system, in the repository. Basically, we have a repository, which you guys don't have to concern yourselves with too much right now. But that repository, which I'm showing you here, is in the system. And the group devices team makes edits and adds the different devices that need to come up on the website. So that is where you would pull this list from. If you ever have difficulty with that, then you would just ask them for assistance with adding a phone that may not be there. But just make sure you do your best to look and see if it's in the list as it should be. So we said we're adding the Samsung S. I made up the Galaxy 8 even though it's not out yet. So let's use this S7 Edge and pretend like that's the 8 for our purposes. So notice what I just did. It says device type and there's an asterisk, which means that this is a mandatory field. I have to put what smartphone it is I want to put here. So I just found where it is in the list. It's in alphabetical order. And I clicked Samsung Galaxy S7, right? Okay, good. Great. So we're on the right track. So now for your button link, you're not going to worry about highlight text. For your button link, that is where it says where to buy. Remember, the button link is anything that a customer clicks on and it takes them on a journey to another page. So in this case, because we don't have e-commerce and our customers are not buying directly from the website, we're going to take them to the store locator. Why that is? Because we're going to show them that if you want to buy this, you're going to come into the retail store at this time and you're going to find it there. And that's for now until that changes in the future and maybe we do have the ability to buy directly online, right? Okay, so let us do that. So let's do button link. And so what you guys should have done for those of you who are transitioning from the ICANN system is that you should have sent me your store locator based on the template that I sent to you. I know that Suriname did provide it. So what that means is that Digicel, we're going to just go through our structure and we're going to find where that says store locator. So Digicel markets and Suriname. And DU for the language, right? And so I see in my structure that store locator is at the bottom of the page. So once I'm confident, I'm going to do OK. Okay, great. So 2 down. We got our name, our device type, we have our button link, and now we want to start entering some of our price information, right? So if I go on Jamaica's page, I can let's click on one of them to kind of compare how it should look. I have, for Jamaica, Jamaica has decided that they only have a postpaid and prepaid price. Okay, so I'm going to use a similar concept for Suriname. I have a postpaid price. My postpaid price is, you all have different currencies. I'm just going to put in a random number here. Okay, great. So did everyone see what I just did? It says price label for you, so it makes it easy for you to remember this is what my price should be labeled. It's postpaid price. What is the main postpaid price? It's $300 in this case. Now, if you notice underneath, there's a section that says add item. And what that gives you the ability to do is add your next price. So let's do that. Let's add, as Jamaica has, a prepaid price. And my prepaid price is going to be $3.99. Okay, now I believe we can hold up to 6. Michaela is on the call, she can tell me, but I think it's 6 that we hold up to on the most maximum number. So if you wanted to add up to that, even though we wouldn't recommend you add in every single price that you have necessarily, but if you wanted to add up to 6, you could add up to 6 based on the current functionality of this component. Okay. All right, so for our purposes, we're just going to do postpaid and prepaid right now. Next, we want to put in our tax label. So obviously that depends on your market and your products. So let's do VAT inclusive. You know, it's going to be different in every market. Number of votes you're not going to worry about, and your short description would be this here that we have in bold, as you can see on the Jamaica page. That's where you would put that. So, okay, so we got our device configuration tab filled out so far. Does anyone have any questions about that? No. Okay, great. So next, I'm just going to kind of work down the line because I did device configuration. The next thing I want to do is I want to add my basic information, which is in the next tab. So let's click on basic. Now, this is important because this is where, as I mentioned to you before, you have to add your SEO type of information. This is where that goes. So I have a title in, but I want to utilize all these fields here. So I want to say the page title is also Samsung Galaxy S7. If I wanted to put in a navigation title, I could say Samsung Galaxy S7 / Digicel Suriname. And then I need to put in the description and the SEO description. So in this case, what you could use is the description that you should have already had ready for your phone. This is something that we ask you guys to reach out to us if you do not have descriptions, just to ensure that they're accurate and they're highlighting the correct specifications. Just keep in mind that you need to give us a little bit of time so that we can provide you with those. So let's just borrow this for a second since we're testing. And I'm just going to use a notepad so that I don't pick up any weird formatting. So, okay, so I want to put in my description and I want to put in my SEO description. Okay. And I'm not worried about create date for this particular component because it's not like a press release. And I'm not worried about creating a vanity URL right now or anything like that. So don't complicate it too much. So for the most part, I have my titles and my descriptions filled out. Simple enough. So far I did my device configuration, I did my basic tab, and I need to do my next tab now, which is description. So we already have a description, we just used one, right? We just want to make sure that it looks good and it's in the same format as all the other websites. If you notice, Jamaica has their tagline, and all the websites now that are on the Adobe system have their tagline bolded. So we're going to follow that format. Once we're confident with that, we can move on to the next area, which is image. Now, I need to put in an image. I don't necessarily need to put in a homepage image anymore because on the new design, the images are not being pulled into the homepage any longer. But I do need to put in a preview image. Why do I need to put in a preview image? Because if I go on to my smartphone's landing page, these are all preview images. So if I don't put any preview images in here, then what's going to happen is my customer, luckily Jamaica has them all filled out. Wonderful. What's going to happen is my customer is going to be left with like an ugly icon or something, nothingness. We don't want that, right? We want them to be able to see what the phone looks like. So that is why I need to put the image in. Now, you don't have to worry about uploading your own images because Group is supposed to take care of all of that. So, for example, if it was that the Samsung Galaxy S8 came out, we would most likely have uploaded it to the DAM already. And usually if it's a phone like a Samsung Galaxy S, like when the S7 came out, I made the markets aware that it was in the DAM and that the description was ready. I sent it out for you because I know that it's a phone that most markets are going to want to promote. So what I need to do is if I'm not sure of what it's called, I need to find it in the DAM, right? So just keep in mind, we need to go to our DAM section, our digital assets, which is at the top. We can just click right over to it. Okay, so we're in banners. We don't belong in banners. In fact, let's open up the structure again so we can see from the top where we want to go. So digital assets, and I want to go to markets, but this time I'm not looking to go to banners. This time I'm looking to go to devices. Okay, now if you can see, there are folders here that are broken down with the different devices for each manufacturer. In this case, like I said, if it was the Samsung Galaxy S8 that's coming out, it would most likely have already been uploaded, so we would have had it in its own folder. As you can see here, we have the S7 and we have the S7 Edge. And what we try to do is we just try to label it so you know what to search for. So Samsung S7 black preview. So we have it in a black and silver. So this is the image size that you'd want to put in the preview. So what I would do is that I'd copy it. I'd double click it. I'd copy the name so that I can find the exact name that I'm looking for. And I would go back to my page. So I have my tab open still, right? And I would just paste, search for it. And ta-da! It came up. Wonderful. So I'm just literally going to take it and drag and drop it in. Okay, I hope I'm not going too fast, guys. Just let me know if you need me to go over anything again. So far we have device configuration, basic description, image that we filled out, and we don't really need to go any farther because, like I said, we're not using homepage image at this time. Advanced, you do not have to worry about, and you are not concerned with cloud services. So I have the main 4 that I need done, and I feel confident now, so I'm going to do OK. Way, wonderful. Now, the reason why this lovely image came up is because when I went to page properties, I chose the phone that I wanted, so it pulled up this image from the repository for you already. Okay, and so another thing you don't have to worry about is the features here. If something is missing, please reach out to the group devices team and let them know that they need to update this in the repository. You guys are not responsible for updating specifications in the repository. So again, if something is missing, please reach out to the group devices team. Annette or somebody from the team is able to assist with adding and making sure the correct specs are here. So we've added all our information, we added our SEO. Once I am comfortable, I can preview. Question? How can we change the colors available? That is also something that you need to ask the device team to do, Florence, because all of the colors that are available are based on what's in the repository. So that's also added by group. Yes, Valerie, we would expect that you guys would have French. So, for example, if it is that I send out, for example, the Samsung S8 description in English, then we'd ask that you guys translate it for French for us, so you could put it on the site. Florence, there is no way to amend it within the market. I'm not sure if that will change in the near future, but it's just a way to keep it centralized. So right now, the group team controls that. Okay, so Danny is asking if a front and a back images. Okay, Danny, that's also something that it really depends on if we have the front and back images. These all come from the manufacturers. So if it is that we have it, usually we try to add these. It would just be added to the repository in the color. And then if we have silver, it would be silver front, back side. If we have black, it would be black front, back side, etc. It really depends on whether or not we have it, and then it would be added to the website. I believe those are in the toolkit. I'm not sure if you guys have access to it in the Digicel toolkit, but I know that the images are there. That's usually the first place they're uploaded to, the Digicel toolkit. Okay, do you guys have any other questions about the phones so far? Is all okay? Okay, by now I hope that you're getting the concept. Right now I'm just going to ask that we take a 2-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll look at a different section of editing. Okay? So I'm not Xing off the chat. I'm just going to ask that we take a 2-minute break. Can we delete the where to buy button? Good question.
No, you're not
No, you
able to.
can't.
That button is fixed, and that's why. So if the where to buy would just be relocated to the store locator. When it is that we actually advance and start having online purchases, then it would be buy now.
Okay, so there you go. Thanks, Michaela. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead, like I said, and we're gonna take a 2-minute break, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay? So yes, Ravina, it takes you to the store locator. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I'm just reading through your questions now. Okay. Valerie says, but in FY, we don't know if our point of sale have all handsets. They are independent. Okay. Was that question already answered, Valerie? Okay, perfect. Okay, Natasha says, as it relates to previous images, can the names be standardized when they're updated? Sometimes a challenge. Yes, I completely agree, Natasha, and that's something that you need to talk to Annette about, because Annette's the main person and main point of contact who puts the devices in the repository. So she's the best person to talk to that about, because she works also directly with the manufacturer. She knows how they want the names to be portrayed, because sometimes it's not as how maybe us would as users would write it. So I would work with Annette in the future to ensure that that is correctly written in the repository and written in the system. Okay, no problem. Let me make sure I'm off mute on join me. Okay, guys, if there's no more questions about phones and devices, let's move on to a different section. Keep in mind that there is a lot, like I said, of components and a lot of different things that you can do. And so it's just going to take some time, but it's remembering the concept. So let's go to creating a plans and services page. This is also another page that you guys will be editing within your markets a lot. And based on the new design, I just want to show you how that looks and what that means. Okay, are you guys hearing now and join me? I was on mute. I just unmuted, so hopefully you're now hearing. Okay, so let's go to a market and great, I'm glad that you can hear me. And let's edit some plans and services content. Now, let's go to Jamaica so we can see what the current plans and services content looks like. So I'm going to click on prepaid plans here, and this is an example. So the design currently for the majority of the plans and services types of pages and throughout other pages in the design is that there's a banner on the page. And you guys should have already been familiar with this because when I did the website calls with each of the different groups of markets, I explained what the design looked like, and you are required to send over these banners. If you didn't send over these banners, then we use banners from either our pool of banners that were created or from other markets, and you will be responsible for changing those out when it passes over to you, which is like right now, which is why we're doing this training. Okay, so I showed you earlier how to edit the general banner component, so that's the same thing. I'm not going to show you how to do that again. But let's navigate to our plans and services section right now so we can see what it's like to edit a plans and services page. So I'm going to go to websites. I'm going to go to Digicel. I'm going to go to markets. I'm going to go to Jamaica because I'm looking at Jamaica's website right now. EN, because Jamaica only has one language, English. I'm going to go to mobile. I'm going to go to plans and services, and I'm going to go to prepaid plans. And I know that I am on my prepaid plans page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click and open up prepaid plans. So again, we have a general banner at the top of the page, and I showed you guys how to do that, how to edit that in the home page. I'm not going to show you how to do that again, but if you are ever not sure about what component you're using, remember, and I'm in preview mode, so I'm just going to go in edit mode so you can see. Okay. If you're not sure about what component you are using, you are able to It's coming up here for some reason. Perhaps because we're in UAT. Give me 1 second. Chad, what's the IPA? Yeah, no, live production. 0160. There we go. Okay. So, alright, I'm gonna go back maker here just so you can see what the components look like since we're not seeing them in the test environment. Okay, so basically, what you want to edit is your general banners. For some reason, it's not allowing me to edit here, but it is a general banner. Is this preview mode? Sometimes when you're in preview mode, meaning when you're on the microscope, there you go, yeah. When you're on the microscope, it doesn't allow you to edit, so you just make sure your mouse is on the pencil, and it allows you to edit in edit mode. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is a general banner component that we edited earlier. And what you need to do is just ensure that that is linking to the correct place in the DAM. So you would just search for the path and you'd put that in and then you'd edit the content on top of the banner. Again, I'm not going to go back into detail on that, but you let me know if you have questions. And then we also have the titles, which I showed you how to edit on the home page. That's simple. That's just right-clicking and editing and putting in the title in the configuration, in the component. Now, when you start getting to other pages, you'll see that there are different types of components. Remember, a component is just something that you use to build content. There's different types of components that you can use depending on your content. Now, this one you're looking at right here, the colorful one, and this used the colors from the fractals. This is called the plan selector component, the one that we have here. So to give you some information on the plan selector component, the plan selector component holds 4 columns only. What does that mean? So that means that it's not good if you are trying to advertise a plans that have maybe 6 or 7 different types of plans, like you have small to extra large, something like that. What you want to use this for is maybe like 4 smart plans or 4 hybrid plans or something like that. Something that is maximum of 4, right? And using this component, what you're able to do is you're able to put in just the details that the customer would need to know, and then you can either link them to find out more, or you can link them to the store locator like we did with the other page that we just edited on the phones and devices. There's also the accordion component, which we're having a bit of trouble with right now, but I can still show you guys what that looks like. I personally like the accordion components a lot because they allow you to display the content in an organized way, and it allows that the customer doesn't have to go to a different page to find the content. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. Okay, so let's try and do a plan selector component. Now, can anyone tell me where I can find or how I create I want to create a new page. So what do I do? Somebody give me some direction here. I'm creating a new page under prepaid plans. Anyone? Create a new page tab. Thanks, Ravina. Okay, so new page. All right. Do you know, Ravina, what template I should use here? I have a few different ones. Can you look and tell me which one I should be using? I see there's a play, I see there's a plan detail page, and if I don't remember, I can always look at what the market what was used before, and I can see that the plan detail page was used. So let's use that one. I'm going to do new, and I'm going to do new page. And let's say that I am in like Aruba, Borneo, Curacao, and we have hybrid, so I want to put in hybrid plans. So I put in hybrid plans. Remember, if you don't put in the name field, it's going to populate for you. Plan detail page, that's the one I chose because that's what we've been using. And I'm going to do create. So it is created for you within your, underneath your prepaid plans because that is where you put it. So let's double click and open it up. Alrighty. So it gave us a blank page, but the good part is that because we use a template where we should be using, it kind of sets certain things up for us, right? So anywhere where you see drag components or assets here, that means, excuse me, that you need to, like it says, drag component or asset there because that's where you need to utilize to create your content. Now, as I mentioned before, the design means that you are going to be using a banner on the top of the page. We need to add a component so that you can add your banner at the top of the page. And I've been saying before, the component that we use for this is called general banner. So let's look for it. So let's do new. I can either right click and do new from there, or I can use my sidekick and I can drag in a component. So let me repeat that. I have a tab in my sidekick for my components that I can take and I can drag it over, right? So for example, let's say I wanted to put in a contact component. Do you see that I'm dragging that in there and it's in now? And if I change my mind, I could delete it. So that's an example. If I don't want to drag it in, I could right click and I could do new. And I'm going to get my list of components. So you have different sections. I don't know this by heart. You're not going to know this by heart. It's just a matter of trying to find the one you want here. And most of them are in alphabetical order. They should be. So I mentioned to you guys that I'm looking for a general banner, right? So I found it. It's in other. I know that this is something that we want to get cleaned up a little bit easier for you in the future. So we're going to try to do that. But for now, just keep in mind that they're in, for the most part, they should be in alphabetical order. And if you're not sure of what component to use, you can always open that page that you've opened that was done already to see what was used. Okay, so I put in my general banner, and we know that we would have already uploaded our images to the DAM. There are some images in the DAM that we have a pool of banners in, and it's called shared website content. Now, just keep in mind that we understand that everybody's talent looks a little bit different. So these images look more like Caribbean talent, but you guys would need to have that reflect your talent. So that's something that you'd be working on going forward. So just to give you an example, I found the path and I clicked because I know that that's the image I want to put in, and I'm just gonna copy it. This is my trick of how I save some time. I'm gonna put in my desktop version, and I'm gonna put in my mobile version. Now, obviously, when you're doing this for the first few times, you're just going to be very careful and make sure you're putting in the right images. But just for time's sake, I'm just kind of going through this. So, ta-da, you have a beautiful image there. And then you could edit some more and put in some text, etc. on top of that image, right? Make sense? Okay, so that's our first step on our plans page. Now let's go back to the Jamaica page and see what else they have there. They have this thing called the plan selector component. Now we're going to put our own plan selector component in, but first I want to edit my title. So editing the title is one of the best things you do in the CMS, right? We've been doing this. So we're going to put in hybrid plans. Sorry, my case is off. Hybrid plans. Okay. Then you have the ability to choose a color. Now, I would recommend that you choose something, don't go too crazy or wild, just to keep the brand consistent. Use something that's readable, use something that reflects the brand well, and then you're gonna just do OK. Okay? All right, so we're getting there. So we have an image, we have a title, we want to use this nice colorful table. We've decided that we have 4 hybrid plans that work really well in this table. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is called the plan selector. So let's go ahead and add that in. So I'm going to utilize this part where it says drag components or assets. And I'm going to look for my plan selector. Remember, this is not an exact science. I'm just going to find where that is. And once this is done for you guys already, it'll be easier because then you'll just be editing that information. Or if it's that you don't have those plans anymore, you would just delete that information. If you are using like if your plans maybe range from like 1 to 5, 1 to 6, etc., then you're just going to use the regular table component, and I can show what that looks like after. Okay, so we put in our plan selector. All I'm going to do is edit because I know by now that that's what we've been doing. I'm going to do 4. I'm going to put in my title. I mean, we don't really need this because we have a title at the top already, but we can put it in to see what happens. Great, so it gives us those 4 colors. Now we're not going to use blue. Let's stick with, we don't want to use all blue. So it's easy for you to change a color. You just do edit, and you'd be able to change it to the color that you want to use. Okay. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to edit the text. So if I want to add something new, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a plan selector item. Okay, and that's not showing up, Chad. Okay, so I'm having a bit of a problem with this, but so what should happen, guys, is that you should be able to, let me just go into edit mode, sorry. I was having some difficulty in the training environment. What you're supposed to be able to do is you're supposed to be able to put in your information and add a new plan selector just down the line. So what you do is you'd edit here and you'd put in the information that you want to show up there. So for example, let me go back here. I chose a color and I want to choose a title text. So let's say the title text is the name of my plan, right? So let's say it's the bronze plan. And then the subtext could be get the most calls. So it's a way for you to display the content that isn't so boring and in the traditional box tables. It just displays it a little bit more vibrantly for the customers. If you're good at this type of thing and if you're very good at like making things creative, it's a good component to utilize to get that information across. So what you would do is once you put this in, you would enter, I'm not able to do it here. Oh wait, I am now. Okay. So what you do is you'd put in a plan selector item. And then you just kind of keep on building until you have all the information that you want to put in. So if you look back at Jamaica's just for reference, you can see that they put in their plan and then they put in the amount of the rate that it starts at and the number, the cost per month, etc. So basically you just go down the line and you'd be able to put that in. All right, so got it. So what we did here, so after I put in the title, it allowed me to add some more information. So I just did edit, and now I can put 100 minutes free, something. Okay, so it takes a little bit of time. So this is something that if you it's not done for you already and you wanted to create one from scratch, it's really great if you had the time to just kind of play around with it a bit to see how you can capture this type of content. I think it looks really great on the Jamaica page. So if you have a particular set of plans that fit, it's really interesting to try. So just to recap, all I did was I looked for my plan selector component, and then once I put in my plan selector, I just clicked edit. I put in that information in the text fields, and when I wanted to add a new piece of information below, I just did new, and then I did plan selector item. So your plan selector component and your plan selector item kind of work hand in hand there. So just keep that in mind. Now, like I've been saying, if you ever forget what component it is you're supposed to be using, then you just need to look back at a page that was done. And you can even look back at a different market. You're not able to edit the content on other markets, but you are able to see what the content looks like. So if I'm a user in Haiti and I want to see what Jamaica used for something, I'm able to go and open up the Jamaica page. I don't have access to edit or have access to activate, but I'm able to see what component was used. Okay, great question, Florence. How do I add the icons on the left? All right. So to add the icons on the left, what you're going to do is you're going to right click the side. Sorry, not there. You're going to right click the box itself. So you see this box that says 100 minutes free. I'm going to right click. Okay, it's not working in UAT. Let's try production. I'm going to right click. Yeah, it's working in production. So you have two tabs. One is for configuration and one is for image. And if you can see, the image tab is there for you. Now, where you're going to find those images, again, remember everything is in the DAM. So just make a mental note that these are actually in, if you go to assets, the reason why you need to know where it is you need to know what to search for. So if you go to, open up the structure, go to Digicel, go to plans, go to plan selector icon. Remember, that's what we're working on. Then you'll see the name of it. So if I wanted to put in bonus icon, I could search for bonus. Ta-da, came right up. So then again, I would just edit and I would just literally, I drag it and I drop it right into that box. Does that make sense, Florence? Great. Okay, so far, what we've created on a plans page is a we created, sorry, a plan selector component, right? But what you need to do, if let's say you had a set of plans that maybe you have like 8 plans or something and you want to use a traditional table, we still have a traditional table component. So you just do new. Remember, we've been using the same formula. We've been doing new, or we've been dragging in from the sidekick. This is your sidekick. This is your components tab. I find it easier to do new and add it there, but everybody is a bit different. So do new, and then you can do table. Found it. And you can mix your page. So your page could have a table and a plan selector component. It could have both. It could have one. It's all about how you want to display your content. Okay, guys, so let's just do this is very simple. I'm not really going to spend too much time on this, but basically this is a regular table. So if I wanted to, we're trying not to use blue. I know we have all the different markets on this call, but you know, in the Caribbean we have blue. Our competitor uses blue. So we're trying not to use blue, but it depends really on your market, because it's different all over the world. So basically, let's say I want to do data plans, and I have 7 data plans. Then I would just, like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I would just put in information, and I could add up to 7 data plans here, and I could put in the different information. So I could put in the minutes, if I have minutes with this, or I could put in the amount of data per megabyte. I could put in the cost. Right? And then once I put in all of that information, depending on how you guys want to categorize it, it's going to be different obviously in every market, because you guys will choose to display different things. But we'll just do OK. And this table is going to look horrible, but at least you're getting an idea of what it would look like, right? This is not filled up, which is why it looks like that. But it's just another option. So if you don't have the ability to use the plan selector, you can display your information in the table. And we're also looking for any copy, so any text that we're using, we're looking for it to be light, and we're looking for it to be user-friendly and really talk to the user and really explain what the plan gives you without going into like an FAQ or like really boring details. We have a section for the FAQs, that's the need help section, and that's separate. but we just want to show the content and we want to show that information for the user in a very easy way. Okay, does anybody have questions about tables or adding the information? No? Okie dokie. So I want to show you guys this, which I mentioned before, which is accordions. Now, keep in mind, there are some issues that we're having with our accordions right now. So for anybody that's coming on, I would not recommend you use or add an accordion yourself. What I just want to show you though is how it looks or how it works, so that in the future, when we have confirmed that there's no more issues with this component, that you can use it. So it's called an accordion, like I said. We're going to stick to the same formula. Drag components or assets here. I'm going to do new. And just like how the plan selector component had a accordion object, or you had to add one thing and then add another, that's how this one is right now. I don't know if that may change, but right now what you're going to do is you'd add accordion objects container first, and then you'd add the accordion object inside of that. Okay, so basically, what does that do for us, right? Anything that you're seeing inside of this, so this is an object, Roam Like Your Home is an object, DigiHome is an object, International Plans is an object, and they're all inside of one container. So let's get some practice. We're going to do edit and we're going to make our own, right? So we're going to do Roam Like Your Home. And you guys would categorize the page however you want. One way we've done for the redesign is that we've used data plans. Like most of the time, data plans have their own page, and then the different types of plans, data plans, in accordion. So if it's a social plan or a free night pass or a maybe a different type that has a voice and data, then those would all be in different accordion objects. So if you notice, there's a little thing here that has an arrow, and that allows the customer to open and close this information. So we're going to add that. So I have my Roam Like My Home, my title. I just want to do arrow. So if I do arrow, it should come up for me. And I'm going to choose the red arrow, red for Digicel, right? Configuration image. So that was pretty simple. All I did, just to recap, was I added my title by clicking edit, and I added my image by just dropping in the arrow, and then I did OK. Okay. So perfect. So I have the ability now to add a rich text component. Now, I don't want you guys to get too confused with the components, but if you have any experience with a content management system, you know that you need to have some type of text component for you to add text. So in this Adobe system, what we have is called a rich text component. It gives us the opportunity to write any type of text. So let's do that right now. Let's do new. And this is also in alphabetical order. So I just went to R and I found it quickly. Okay, and great. That gave me the opportunity to put some text in. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to do edit. And I'm going to, this is something that you probably would have had like in a file or something like that, you would have already had it edited. So I'm going to just type some stuff in. Okay, so that's just some text, just to give you an example of what it would look like. All right, so that's one object. Remember I said that each of these are an object within the container. If you don't remember this, you can always go into the Jamaica page and open it up and see what it is that they're using. I encourage you to do that so that you don't drive yourself crazy with all of the different components that are here. Okay, so let's add another one. So I added roam like your home. Now I want to add my international minutes. So I'm going to look for my accordion object, guys. So let's do that. Accordion object. So I'm going to do that over because I added it in the wrong place. Sorry. I added it within that object, but I want it to be its own object. So I made a mistake. So just take a note of that. I am going to put it below. So it'll be in the same container, but a different object. So I'm going to put it in the next section that says drag components or assets here. So let's do that. Accordion object. Okay. Let's do edits. And then I said I want to do minutes. I'm going to drop an arrow in. I'm going to do OK. All right, so we have a new component, and if I wanted to, once this component is functioning how we want it to, we would be able to add a table or something inside of it. But right now we're not doing that just because we're having a bit of difficulty with the component. But yeah, so this is an example of how that would look. So once you put content inside of that, it should look like this. Now it's a little bit, doesn't look like that right now because we're still in the content management system, but it should look like that once you publish. You just have to make sure that you're checking your content to make sure it looks the way it's supposed to. So do you guys have any questions so far about that? Okay, I hope that you're all taking it all in. Okay, so that gives you like a quick overview of the plans and services section. So far, sorry, I hope you're hearing me. So far, we've covered your phones and devices and your plans and services section. One of the other important sections that I want to cover, since we don't have a lot of time left, there's a lot of different areas, and we'll probably have to do another session at some point with the other areas that you'll be editing. But another important section that you'll be editing would be your FAQs, FAQ content. So I'm just going to walk you through what that looks like as well. It's a very similar concept to what we have been doing. So if you're on the Jamaica website, the FAQs right now based on this design are in the need help section, right? So if we click that, you're going to land on a page where it says services, loyalty, handsets, plans and promotions, etc. And each section has their own FAQs underneath there. So let's create an FAQ. So let's go on the top. I'm actually going to log out and log back in, because I want you to remember what the system looks like when you log back in. So I'm on Adobe Experience Manager, and I'm going to sign back in. Okay. And my FAQ content is going to be under websites. My website structure is closed up, and I want to open it up. So I'm going to open it up and I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm going to Giselle. I know I'm going to Marcus. I know I'm going to Jamaica. And now I want to go to FAQ. So like I just mentioned, our FAQs are our need help section. And if you click on need help, you're going to see the categories below that. So you can see these exact categories that I'm talking about are here. Services, loyalty, etc. So let's create, or first let's look at a FAQ that's underneath service. So I choose roaming. So what do I do when I want to see content? I want to double click and I want to open it up. So let's say that instead of maybe creating a new FAQ, which let's say that you have to edit the content that in one that's already up because a rate has changed or some information has changed, right? In this case, you would have already had the rich text component in the page already. So you would not have had to add one in. But what you are going to have to do is you're going to have to right click, edit, then you'll find the information, like let's say a short code change, then you just need to change it out. So you just need to do that, and then you do that, and then you do OK. You could do the same thing for a table. You would do edit, and you could change a price very easily, and once you're complete you could do OK. So something like that is not very difficult to do. Now what I would never want you guys to do is, let's say that you have a new FAQ and instead of creating a new page you just switched out the content that's in the roaming page and put in a loyalty FAQ. Don't ever do that. Ever, 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 ever. Because once you activate that, it means that you have a URL about roaming and SEO descriptions about roaming, and you have content about loyalty. And that is probably one of the worst things ever from a user perspective, and it makes the brand look terrible. So always make sure that if you are creating new content, you are creating a new page, unless it is the same FAQ that is intended to go there. Make sense? Okay. So now that I've demonstrated how easy it is to just change information, you'd be doing that similar type of thing if a plan price or a cost change as well. You'd be going into the page, you'd be right clicking, and you'd be editing that information, whether it's inside a text box or it's in a table. Right click, edit, and you change that information. Once you're done, you're going to utilize your sidekick to activate that page. And remember, we've activated some things before. It's in your page tab, and you just click activate. Okay? If you wanted to, you could actually also activate from the structure. Just make sure that when you're doing that, you have your mouse on the correct place. So for example, right now I have my mouse on SMS. So because I have it on SMS and I'm sure it's on SMS, then if I wanted to activate that page because I just made a change, I could do it there as well. I could also access the page properties by doing right click, properties, and it gives you the same properties that it would if I had opened up the page and went to the properties in the sidekick. So it's just a different way of going about getting to the same information. And these types of things are things that you get in time, and it helps you to kind of save time and get about your goals in the website system quicker. So let's create a new FAQ. So I want to create a new FAQ under plans and promotions, okay? Let's say that I want to do a bring the beat FAQ. So I'm going to do new page. Now, can someone please tell me what template I should use to do this page? So I'm waiting for someone to tell me. Help detail page. Thank you, viewer number 31. I don't know who that is, but thanks. Ravina, thank you. Thanks, Ravina. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to choose a help detail page. And if Ravina wasn't sure, she could have looked by saying what template we used before. We used help detail. We can see all the other ones before this was a help detail page. So let us create a new FAQ. We're going to do bring the beat. And make sure you're spelling correctly, not like me who just put brought. Bring the beat, right? Okay, perfect. Now remember what I've been telling you guys. If you don't want to put in a name, this will generate for you. Let's do create once we are sure we have our title and we have our help detail page. All right, wonderful. Now, let's double click and open up. By now, you should be comfortable with doing that because we've been doing the same thing over and over. Okay. Now, once I do edit, should go away. But basically, so, all right, perfect. So this gave us the opportunity to add a, so it made our page already defined our page for us. This here is called a content box grid, and what it does is basically just give your page a margin, because if we didn't have this, then the content stretched across the entire page and it would look horrible. We don't want that. So if your page, if it doesn't have one for itself, you have the ability to add it. You would just do new and you would do content box grid. Should be in one of these. Yeah, it's right here. Content box grid on a digital general. But luckily, because you guys are using the correct template, you didn't need to put in a content box grid because it was already there for you. So, the first thing I'm going to do right now is put my title in. So let's put in a title. So we said we're going to call this Bring the Beat, right? Bring the Beat FAQ. So Bring the Beat. I'm going to choose my color. Let's say I wanted to use red, I could use red. And I'm just going to organize that and I'm going to do OK. And by now you guys should be comfortable creating a title. Okay. So I need to put in some content. Can anyone tell me what component I should use to put in the content? We just used it a few minutes ago for another page. I'm waiting for someone to tell me. Anyone? Come on, guys. You know. Viewer 26 said something? It's not the video, no. Okay. At least we had someone who tried. It is the rich text component. Please write it down. Rich text component. Rich text component. That's what you're going to use if you need to enter text. And you're going to be using it a lot. So please remember, rich text component. Now, if I wanted to just make it so that my FAQ just fits across this column, I could do new. And I would just do rich text component. Okay, and then I would just do OK. And that would give me the opportunity that I could either type in, well, you're not going to be typing in an FAQ, I would hope. Or you'd be copying and pasting it in from your desktop or wherever you have it located. Okay, now let's say we wanted to have two columns because a lot of our FAQs have 2 columns, right? We have a component that's used a lot, call it 2 columns component. How convenient. Seeing if I could find a page that had reviewed till I used it. Yes, we used it here. So this is not a lot of content really, but in fact, they probably didn't need to use it for this, but this is an example of when it was used. So let's do that. Let's put in two columns content component because I decided that I have two columns that I want to put in, right? So I'm gonna find my two columns content component. We even have a three columns content component, but you're probably not gonna use that one very much, if ever. Two columns, perfect. So let's do OK and let's put that in. Great. So let's say I wanted to even get a little bit more visual and I wanted to put an image inside of this. I could do that as well. I could say, remember, your components are there for you to build a page, and you're not going to remember all of these by heart, but once you start to edit the content, you're going to be able to know what you can use where. So I've decided that I want to put in an image here. So let's do that. Image component. I have a component called image component. I'm going to put that in. So that could be helpful if we wanted to maybe show our customer how to activate a device or activate some type of setting. I've had markets that have done that before in their help section to make it a little bit more helpful, because it can be boring if you just have like a long set of text, right? So I have an image component put in, and remember, you just search for it in your DAM. In this case, I'm just going to drag over and drop in an image. Once you see that check mark, you'll know that it was it accepted it and it just dropped it in right there for you. Okay, so I have an image on one side, and what I want to do now is I want to put my text on the other side. Now keep in mind, you can use this type of two-column thing for anything. So you could use it for a promotions page, you could use it for a plans page, you could use it for a press release. It's really about how you want to set your page up. So I did know that I want to put some text in. So again, I'm going to use my rich text component. It's probably one of the components you're going to use the most out of all of them. So please remember it. Okay, so I have an image on one side. I'm going to put in some more text. And this is where I'll put in my FAQ, right? So let's just copy some text from somewhere so that we can see what the page might really look like in real life. And forgive me because my computer is very slow. Okay, so I'm just going to do Control C to copy. And I'm going to go, like I said before, I like to use my notepad because it allows me to strip off the formatting, right? Okay. And you most likely for FAQ, you're going to be copying it from somewhere else, so it'll help you out if you use notepad. Okay, so I'm going to bold that, I'm going to center that, and I'm just kind of going to set my page up how I want it. And I'm going to do OK. Alright, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could even put a banner at the top of the page using the general banner component. I have a lot of flexibility in terms of how I want to display this, you know? So what I just did is I put in my, I used my preview mode, and I just use the preview mode to see what the page would look like. Also, don't forget, just like how we did when we uploaded our phones and devices, remember, we made sure that we put in our SEO descriptions. Anytime that you're creating a new page or a new type of content, you need to make sure that you have your page properties there. And the reason why we've been utilizing kind of the sentence style with the keywords is that's kind of what Google has been using, not so much the tags and keywords like maybe would have used some years ago. So we just encourage you guys to put in the titles and put in the descriptions. Make sure that's all in there, because it's important for our users to kind of find the content that they're looking for. And if you need help with that, you just reach out to us with that. obviously you'd be doing that within your home language as well. Okay, so once you put in that information, you're just going to do OK. And like I can utilize your preview mode to kind of see where that content should lie, how it lies on the page. And once you are absolutely comfortable, you can activate that page. Remember, you can activate from either the page itself, or you can activate from the underneath the tree, the structure, and you could just right click and you can do activate. Okay, does anybody have any questions about the help section? It's not that hard. It's really, like I said, just understanding concepts, and also, you know, if you have a few minutes, encourage the new users that have not really been in the CMS before to explore a bit and kind of maybe look at the different components that are there so that you are familiar. You're not going to be using everything, but some of them may be helpful for you to use. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, does anybody have any questions overall? Because we're going to start wrapping up now. Like I said, it was a training today. It was nice so that you could understand the concepts and understanding how you can begin to edit the content. And I think that we did that for a good majority of 3 sections that you will be using a lot in the website. So does anybody have any questions before we start to wrap up? Nope. I'll give you another minute or 2 to ponder before we end. So just think about it, and then we can end. But I just want to end on a note where everybody is really kind of grasping what we've worked on today. So I'll give you guys a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, let me get off mute for a sec. Okay, guys, I'm back. All right, so Valerie has a question. Have you got a training support? Valerie, do you mean for like text or videos or something? Like a document? Okay, we have some YouTube that we just uploaded today, so from video. So Chad can send that out for you guys. That will help. That was based on the last training I did before, which was a little bit longer. It was actually about 3 or 4 hours longer. So that will give you a little bit more depth on some of the components. Now, what we expect for the markets that are about to launch is that we want you guys to start logging in, and we want you to start reviewing the content and being able to make changes. But just confirm with me and Chad when you're able to log in and when you're able to start doing that. We need to meet our deadline of having everybody be launched by the end of the month, I should say. So Valerie, I would encourage you guys. I think Chad would have sent you your logins. So please log in. Make sure you don't have any connection issues. And we want you guys to start being able to add some of that content. So just confirm with us tomorrow. Okay, great. It's okay for you to log in. All right, so confirm with us tomorrow. Excuse me. Okay, why are you not able to do anything? Okay, so you don't have access rights. Okay, so that's something that we will take a look at for you tomorrow so that we can make sure you are able to edit properly. Friend is Valerie Bonnie. Okay, so we're going to look at that for you tomorrow because we want you guys to start editing and making changes. Does anybody else, especially from the newer markets, have any problems logging in still? Valerie, right now we have one structure for West Indies. Was approach that was taken. So we probably should have a call with me, you, and Chad because we actually have some questions in terms of what flags are to be used and stuff like that. So maybe we can all have a call soon for Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guyana. Okay, so I'll just make a note of that. Okay, thank you. All right, does anybody else? Okay, so Alessandra, yes, Alessandra, please send me a meeting invite so we can talk. Basically, the Panama website was copied from El Salvador, so at least it's Spanish, but we have to make some change. You have to make a lot of changes, so we can talk about that tomorrow. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or need any more clarifications? Yes, Alessandra, no problem. We'll talk tomorrow about that. Just let me and Chad know what time is best, okay? Okay, if nobody else has anything, Chad and I will be reaching out to you guys more for the markets that are about to launch because we're really going to need your assistance, especially for the market that needs some translations. So please stand by for that. But everyone needs to make sure that they're able to log in and that they have access. So please, please, please do that right now. So we recorded this and we'll send the YouTube links for everybody. So just reach out to us if you have any additional questions about editing content. All right, guys. Thanks very much for your time. And like I said, just send us an email or any information if you need any more help.